Before the world succumbed to darkness, there were voices that echoed in the desert, prophets sent to confront kings, crowds, and hardened hearts. Here, your words come to life. Your deeds are remembered. Your stories unveiled. You have just entered the Chronicles of the Prophets. On this channel, you will discover Bible stories presented in a clear, simple, intense, and memorable way. Stories that everyone can understand. Adults, youth, and even children. Today, we will follow the journey of Elijah, a prophet like no other. What happened? Let's find out together. A test on Mount Carmel. The 10-tribe kingdom of Israel had many bad kings, but Ahab was one of the worst. He married an evil woman who worshipped Baal. Her name was Jezebel. Ahab and Jezebel filled the land with Baal worship and murdered Jehovah's prophets. What did Jehovah do? He sent the prophet Elijah to give Ahab a message. Elijah told King Ahab that because of his badness, there would be no rain in Israel. For more than 3 years, crops did not grow and the people went hungry. Jehovah later sent Elijah back to Ahab. The king said, "You are a troublemaker. This is all your fault." Elijah answered, "I didn't cause this drought. You did by worshiping Baal. We will make a test. Gather the nation and the Baal prophets on the top of Mount Carmel." The people gathered on the mountain. Elijah said, "Make up your minds. If Jehovah is the true God, follow him. If Baal is, then follow him. I make this challenge. The 450 Baal prophets should prepare an offering and call to their God, and I will prepare an offering and call to Jehovah. The one who answers with fire is the true God." The people agreed. The prophets of Baal prepared an offering. All day long they called to their God, "O Baal, answer us." When Baal didn't answer, Elijah made fun of him. He said, "Call as loud as you can. Maybe he has fallen asleep and someone needs to wake him up." Evening came, and the prophets of Baal kept calling, but there was still no answer. Elijah put his offering on an altar and poured water all over it. Then he prayed, "O Jehovah, please let the people know that you are the true God." Immediately, Jehovah sent fire from heaven to burn up the offering. The people cried out, "Jehovah is the true God." Elijah said, "Do not let the prophets of Baal escape." That day, the 450 prophets of Baal were killed. When a small cloud appeared over the sea, Elijah told Ahab, "A storm is coming. Hitch up your chariot and go home." The sky became dark with clouds, the wind blew, and a heavy rain began to fall. Finally, the drought had ended. Ahab drove his chariot as fast as he could. With Jehovah's help, Elijah actually ran faster than the chariot. But were all of Elijah's problems over? Psalm 83-18, "May people know that you, whose name is Jehovah, you alone are the most high over all the earth." Questions. What was the test on Mount Carmel? How did Jehovah answer Elijah's prayer? Learn more by reading 1 Kings 16, 29-33, 17-1, 18-1, 2, 17-46, James 5, 16-18. Jehovah took care of Elijah. Jezebel learned what had happened to the prophets of Baal, and she was not pleased at all. So she declared that she would kill Elijah, just as he had killed the prophets of Baal. Elijah was afraid and fled to the desert. He prayed, "Jehovah, I can't take it anymore. Please let me die." Elias was so tired that he sat down and slept under a tree. Then Jehovah sent an angel. The angel woke Elias and said, "Elias, I have something for you to eat. Get up." Elias saw a warm, round loaf of bread and a jar of water. He ate, drank, and went back to sleep. Then the angel woke Elias again. "Eat a little more. You need to stay strong for the journey." After eating, Elias traveled for 40 days until he reached Mount Horeb. There, he entered a cave and went to sleep. But Jehovah was concerned about Elias and asked why he was sad and why he had fled. Elias replied, "Lord Jehovah, the Israelites had promised to worship you, but they are not doing so. They have killed your prophets, and now they want to kill me too." Then Jehovah asked Elijah to come out of the cave and stand on the mountain. There, Jehovah demonstrated his power. First, he sent a very strong wind to pass by the cave. Then, he sent an earthquake and a fire. Finally, Elijah heard a very calm, soft voice. He covered his face and came out of the cave. Jehovah asked, "Why did you run away, Elias?" "I ran away because no one worships the Lord anymore. Only me." "No, you are not alone. There are still about 7,000 people in Israel who love me." Then Jehovah told Elijah to call Elisha to be a prophet in his place. Without wasting time, Elijah went and did what Jehovah had commanded. What can we learn from everything that happened with Elijah? If we always do what Jehovah commands, he will take care of us. Now, let's go back in time a little and see something Elijah did a few years earlier. Philippians 4:2-6, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God." Do you know the answer? Why did Elijah flee? What did Jehovah say to Elijah? Learn more by reading 1 Kings 19, 1:18. Romans 11:2-4, the widow's son comes back to life. During the years of drought, Jehovah instructed Elijah to leave Israel and go to Zarephath, because a widow living there would provide him with food. When he arrived, Elijah saw a poor woman gathering sticks from the ground. This was the widow Jehovah had mentioned. Elijah asked her for bread and a little water. The widow said, "I don't have bread. I only have a little flour and oil, and that's just enough for me and my son." Elias said, "Jehovah promised that if you make bread for me, you will have flour and oil until it rains again." So the widow went home and made bread for Elijah. And just as Jehovah had promised, the widow and her son always had food to eat during the years of drought. Her jar of flour and her jar of oil never ran out. But a terrible thing happened. The widow's little son became very ill and died. The widow begged Elijah to do something. Elijah took the boy from his mother's arms and carried him to an upstairs room in the house. He laid the boy on a bed and prayed, "Jehovah, please make this boy live again." What Elias asked seemed impossible. As far as is known, this had never happened before. And the widow and her son were not even part of Jehovah's people. But the boy came back to life. Elias said to the widow, "Look, your son is alive." The widow was so happy that she said to Elijah, "Now I know that you are truly a man of God, and that the word you speak comes from Jehovah and is true." Luke 12:24, "Consider the ravens. They do not sow or reap. They have no storeroom or barn, yet God feeds them. And how much more valuable you are than birds." Do you know the answer? How did the widow show that she trusted Jehovah? How do we know that Elijah was truly a prophet of God? Learn more by reading 1 Kings 17, 8-24. Luke 4:25-26. The voices of the prophets have not been silenced. They are simply waiting for those who have ears to hear. If this story moved you, share it, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And get ready, because the next chronicle is already being written.